very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadiel. It's such a pleasure to have you joining us for these conversations. Conversations we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy and political moves. ODM is split. The divisions there between Azimio and ODM, or is ODM really Azimio goons? Entering Jaramogi Odinga Foundation when Kalonzo Musyoka was making his speech, Prof. It's crazy what is happening because everyone now is bashing Raila. They're saying it's Raila who brought the goons because he left immediately when Kalonzo was making the statements, and then vijana wakaingia. Watu wa media, even if they're calling them men in black. But
men in black? Some of them are my friends.
We are back there again.
Yeah.
Is Raila Azimio and ODM Azimio ODM? So Raila makes the final.
What I think is happening is ODM is slowly but surely disengaging from Azimio. Yeah, I think they want to chart their own path. That path is defined by their desire to work with Ruto. And they find it difficult to remain in Azimio because most of Azimio is against working with Ruto. So they have to pursue that agenda outside Azimio.
So Raila has decided he's going to work with
I think he has decided.
It doesn't matter what the other principals are telling him.
It doesn't matter. It is it's quite sad. It's a pity. For those of us who have lived all our lives respecting Raila, we find it very difficult to live with a new reality of a Raila who can do the sort of things he's now doing. It's very difficult
He
for
asks a simple question. Ruto must go, then what? He says military can take over. He says, what next? No one is giving a right solution to Ruto.
There's nobody has said Ruto should go. Nobody has said that. I've not heard that. Have you heard?
That is the conversation. Ruto must go. Social media, hashtag
Ruto must go does not mean Ruto must leave State House or leave the president. Doesn't mean that. Ruto must go means we must let go all the bad things we do in this country. All the bad manners. All the thefts. Ineptitude. You know, corruption, everything. Those are the things that must now go. Laziness. Chronism, nepotism, all the negatives must go.
Come on, but we're talking about the competence of the president when it comes to leading this country.
Nobody has said good Ruto should go, unless he wants to go. Unless he wants to go. What Kenyans are saying, and I hope somebody listens carefully. I hope, please, if you are watching me now, and you can access Ruto, just give him this part of the clip. Kenyans are asking him to midwife change, that's all. So, for up to 2027, up to 2032, he is the one to choose whether to get to 2027 and whether after 2027 he wants to do another 5 years. Kenyans have no problem. Kenyans are asking Ruto to midwife change. Nobody's after his job. Nobody. I can tell you for a fact, there is nobody interested in Ruto's job.
It's all about change.
Let me be wrong, but I'm sure nobody wants Ruto's job. Ruto must go means Ruto must midwife change. He must agree that we are not doing well and we must start doing well. We want the economy to grow, and the economy cannot grow with all the state capture, all the theft and corruption, where Kenyans are colluding with foreigners to bring, all manner of things in this country. That the economy cannot grow with what's going on. So that must go. The economy must grow to create jobs for these young people. For these young people to get jobs, the economy must grow. For the economy to grow, we must get competent people to run the country. And the Ruto is being asked, be the steward.
Are you the one asking him, or is Kenyans?
I am reading, I understand.
Because it seems like you're talking for Kenyans.
I understand.
But you go through social media. No one has said that.
No, they don't have to say. You don't have to say.
So you're saying it for Kenyans?
I know, that's what they want. And that's what they need. Anything else will be counterproductive.
Then why then are you disappointed with Raila if he says we're going to have this conversation?
That is standing in the way of change. That is, we are giving Ruto a chance to supervise change. But Raila is telling him, no, you don't have to, come on. Let's have a cup of tea. Forget about no. That's just noise. It will disappear. We are telling Raila no. Advise Ruto that Kenyans are asking him to oversee change. Don't tell him he's okay. No, wacha hiyo kelele ya hiyo. Weka cha ingine hapana, tutaki hiyo.
But the president hasn't shown, or maybe you can tell me if he has shown, that he's willing to...
This conversation we are having as Kenyans, including you and I now, and those readers, those viewers who are going to interact with this video, this is a conversation we are having. And through this conversation, we are involving Ruto, the president, and telling him, join the conversation. The conversation is about a new Kenya. And you have a singular historical opportunity to be the one overseeing that.
But has he shown that he's interested
This
in
conversation,
this
conversation should create that interest.
No, if someone doesn't want...
No. Nobody is born. No, this is... so much is happening and it's happening so fast, let's not blame anybody. You can wake up in the morning saying, I will crush the demonstrators. By midday, you know it's not possible. And vice versa.
But look...
So let's not blame anybody. Let's just work on having a conversation in all forums, whatever, to the point where those in charge of this country begin to see the need to do the right thing, including some of them just resigning and going home.
And that is the conversation. Yeah. If Ruto doesn't do the right thing...
He will do the right thing. Why are you being pessimistic?
Because,
I'm the only pessimist in this country.
You know why the pessimism is there? Because one, you say, there will be no Harambe. You go to a church on Sunday, you say you're giving money.
It takes time to change.
We got to another conversation about police brutality. We don't want this police in masks in town while protesters are there. The police in masks are still there. Protesters are saying, look, why are there live bullets? Live bullets, again, we saw them on Tuesday. So why should Kenyans not be pessimistic with President Ruto?
No, they are justified not to trust. But we ask them to join the conversation, to be part of the conversation that leads into all of us, including Ruto, knowing you cannot use bullets against Kenyans. They are the ones buying those bullets. And they are not buying that they may be used against them. We want those bullets to be used against criminals, not Kenyan children. Okay. It's a conversation we have to have. We will have a conversation with the president, with the police, and people are now showing these policemen, you are not doing the right thing. Including those in plain clothes. People are asking them, what exactly are you doing in a demonstration without police uniform? This conversation will yield results. Believe me,
But you see...
Believe me, this conversation will yield results. Believe me.
Yes,
when I say please believe me,
I can believe
let me tell you this.
Yeah.
All those things you have mentioned,
forget
it. You can go through them and I dismiss each of them or I explain it. You started with?
I started with, I can't even remember where I started from. Because,
with Harambes.
Because with Harambes.
You see, even Ruto doesn't need to say anything about Harambe. Next time somebody goes to Harambe with the bundles like in Asudi and my friend from Kericho, what is his name? The one who's seen carrying Koech.
Yes.
People just take the money. So Ruto, it's a conversation this conversation has an element of action. So they say don't go for Harambe and you go. Boys will just take that money and go and drink. They say don't invite politicians to the church, you invite. The boys will just go to the church and drink the wine for sacrament and take the bread. And occupy all the the front seats.
But what can boys
and then no politician will go there. So I'm telling you, this is a conversation. I only sympathize with those people who don't see this is a revolution and there is change in the air. Those are the ones I sympathize with. I have no problem with these things you are mentioning. Harambe, it will go. Nobody will go for Harambe.
Police brutality?
Police brutality will end. We are having a conversation as Kenyans. The police are Kenyans. The police have children in the street. We were with a man, I don't want to mention him here, some of these rich Kenyans who lives in Karen. When he was being interviewed in this place where we are, during one of those, the terrible Tuesday, didn't he see his son in the streets on TV here? Yeah. Did he know the son was going? Is he not a big Kenyan? So this conversation, you cannot have police brutality forever. The police are human beings. One are to scare. The police are also not happy to see plainclothes men among them. So this conversation will bring results.
You know what we see in development?
There will be casualties.
Yes.
No change comes without casualties. There will be casualties, unfortunately. But let me tell you, tomorrow, the dawn brings a better day.
With President Ruto, can he become one of the casualties? Because this is a conversation too. We need
Anybody
to have,
can be a casualty.
In terms of,
yes.
when you look at UK, if the country is bitter with the Prime Minister, he resigns.
Yes.
Are you saying that the country is not bitter enough for the President to consider resignation?
You know, there is something like culture and tradition. It's not in our tradition. It's something we should work towards. A tradition of responsibility. When something happens and you are in charge, you step aside. We are moving to... It's a journey. You don't expect any Kenyan president to resign just because people are making noise. But I know it would get where you are saying.
Yes.
And as a peace-loving Kenyan and a man who loves this country, I give President Ruto a chance. And I tell them, spend less time with these people who sing what you want to hear. Spend less time with them. Listen to people like Manyora telling you. Change is your air. Read on the wall. Mene, whatever it's called. It is there. Read on the wall. Change is in the air.
Yeah.
You can't fight change. Nobody has ever succeeded in history. Nobody. Let somebody go to the history books or on the internet and give me one name of an individual who has succeeded to fight change. No, there is not one individual. You cannot fight change. When time for change comes, those who stand in the way are swept away.
What is the system, or what system of conversation are we looking at?
We are already having the conversation.
This one?
Even through action, there's a conversation.
Not Raila's one?
Pardon?
Not Raila's kind of
No, that conversation, but did it take place?
Not yet.
Nobody can go there. It's out of place. It doesn't even make sense. It's laughable that you, Raila and Ruto, can imagine they can call for a conversation. It's just laughable. It can't work. That is the conversation we're having. Conversations are even silent. Conversations are through action. Now that they want a dialogue and it didn't take place, hasn't that told them something? Haven't they learned something? Hasn't Raila learned by now that Kenyans are not happy with him? Raila knows. By now he knows. So there must be something personal that is keeping him in the field. Instead of leaving the field to come out and join other people, he's remaining in the arena. He has his own reasons, and you can't blame him. You can't begrudge him. If there's something he's benefiting in whatever way, if he's calculating, if he's seeing what we are not seeing.
Then what do you make of Kalonzo Musyoka? I know everyone in the country is talking about Kalonzo Musyoka, the guy who supported Raila from day one, said he'd be stupid to support him again.
Yes.
He supported him in 2022.
Yes.
And then you look
we all do that in life.
Yeah.
I don't find that in it. What Kalonzo said, we all say that. We all do that. We want to pretend we are superhuman. We all say, I will not do it over my dead body. Tomorrow you do it.
But then
it's normal life. People separate, divorce. I can never live with this woman again. Yeah. This is not a man. Then you find them together. So, Kalonzo just saying, I will be stupid. That's nothing. There are bigger things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you look at the situation.
People go to court and divorce. Takes 3 years to divorce, 4 years. Yet you find them again together. So what are you talking about?
So the situation that happened doesn't spell doom for Kalonzo, Raila?
They can still get together because it's about interest. It's sometimes about country. The politics is mainly about interest. But if you ask me, Kalonzo is coming out of this game stronger and stronger. Raila is giving Kalonzo a through pass in the same manner Ruto and his people have been giving Gachagua through pass. Gachagua anapewa tu through pass, anaingiza kak. Tena anakaa tu anacheza tu. Tena kidogo anaona ball ndio goalkeeper ametoka kak anaingiza. They are doing the same to Kalonzo now. Kalonzo is growing by the day.
We've had this conversation for 3 weeks with regards to Gen Z protests. Finally, look at the situation now. Police banning protests in Nairobi CBD, saying that because there is no leader, you cannot protest. It's Thursday as we're speaking today. We expect people to occupy Uhuru Park. What would you advise government finally as we wrap up?
You cannot do those things government is doing. You cannot ban protests. Protests are either peaceful or unmanageable. The choice is with the government, not with the people. If government says, Gen Zs, you want to make a point, how many hours do you need? There's even a police band You remember I've told you about South Africa.
Yes.
There was a police band, demonstration in Malema, in the streets. There was on 20th of March, or there was a 20th date.
Yes.
Everything came to a standstill. The youth can do that. And you can guide them through the streets of Nairobi. And then they can peacefully go home. Didn't they peacefully go home every time they had them? Haven't they peacefully left for home?
Yeah.
Even when goons have interrupted and caused mayhem. So how much more easier would it be for them to go home after peaceful days demonstration? It is possible. So the demonstrations cannot be banned. What you do, and the government has people who went to school, or so I assume. Anytime you ban somebody or something, two things must happen, or two things are clear. Number one, banning is an admission of failure. Yes. You ban because you are admitting you have failed, you don't have the capacity to manage. So banning of whatever nature, even if you ban an individual from doing something, is an admission of failure on your part. The second thing that bans do, when you ban people from doing something, they always go underground. The best example is alcohol ban around 1930, whatever it is in America. It led to people going underground to be able to continue with the liquor consumption and liquor trade. That is the genesis of organized crime in the world. The genesis of?
Organized crime.
When they banned the sale and consumption of alcohol in America around 1931-32. The dealers went under. The tactics they learned in dodging the police, in hiding the alcohol, in supplying to people, in drinking behind closed doors, the tactics they learned, they later applied in general crime. So organized crime has its genesis in the ban of alcohol in 1931, around there, I can't remember what the year properly. So if you do not allow free expression, the expression will go under. Nobody has managed to deal with anything when it goes under. The Americans tried to fight to win the Vietnam War. They couldn't. Why? They are moving the rice fields. Wanakuta kamzee kanagonga mchele ama wheat kanagonga gang, you know, the asking, whatever it's called.
Yes.
Locally, just do it kienyeji. American soldiers are passing there. Wakipita kanatoa machine gun. You can't fight something when it goes under. That's why guerrilla. Have you ever wondered why Uganda should be having a problem with somebody? One individual calls Koni. There was another woman, I don't know, she was called something. Have you ever wondered why Savimbi and the rest terrorized Angolan government for many years? When something goes under, it becomes very difficult. You can win a war very easily if it is a conventional war, because the enemy is clear, the rules are clear, the ground is clear, everything is clear and it has form. When things go under, do we know what the boys and girls can do if we push them under? Do we have an idea? Does this government have an idea of what the Gen Zs will do if you push them under? So that there is no free expression which you can deal with in the streets of Nairobi, which you can direct. They go under. And they use this. They can destroy this country using the phone. I warn the government, don't be overzealous. You will achieve nothing by being heavy-handed, by going the unconstitutional way of saying you are banning rallies. You are lucky, and lucky other people. The issues Kenyans are raising are manageable issues. There are places where the issues people are raising cannot be managed. You can't. Go to the internet. I challenge each one of us, go to the internet. Look at the issues facing the countries that have had similar problems. Go to Egypt, go to Sudan, go to Argentina, go to Greece, go to Sri Lanka. Just Google, find out the issues that they were facing. Some of the issues were not issues you could address in a day. No, our issues are so simple. like keeping useless people in office. What's so difficult removing a useless person from office and putting there a Kenyan who can serve Kenyans? That's not an issue. Sometimes countries have issues of resources, issues of religion, huge differences where one person cannot meet another person in the streets without killing each other. And yet they live in the same country. And the president must bring them together. Huge constitutional issues hanging over in a country. You can't resolve them easily. Ours. What? Is there a challenge we can't solve in this country? Is there anything in this country that we cannot say one day we want to deal with? One, I challenge those who want to think we have a problem from either side. I'm challenging them, whether it is Ruto, whether it's Raila, Kalonzo, all these leaders, including Gen Zs. I challenge every Kenyan, listen to me, to table one thing which is difficult for Kenyans to deal with. One. If you bring one, I will leave this country. I say, this is a country of clever people and I'm a fool. I cannot spoil this country. My foolishness cannot be allowed in a country of such a clever people. One reason, one thing that is so big, Kenyans will have to die over. One. Just even you, give me one.
Yeah.
Do you think of, just give me one.
No,
Do you see one?
We are not there yet.
There's nothing we can't deal with now. These are minor, useless things. As useless as telling somebody in the parliament, you are no longer going to be the leader of the majority. Because Kenyans are not happy with you. Just let's put somebody else there. As simple as coming up with a good cabinet. As simple as saying let's address tribalism in the civil service. Surely, some communities are more than their fair share of what is considered a national cake. Are these difficult things to deal with?
Well, what a place to wrap up. It's Thursday. Protests in Nairobi have been banned. What do you expect of the president moving forward? Till we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.